My name is Mark, I'm a Game Reserve. We're coming to you live from part of the Greater Kruger National Park here in South Africa on a somewhat grey day with some cloud that is flying across the sky, and I've got shouting in my ear. There we go, turn the volume down. Been sitting with an elephant here as we started up, so I thought maybe it would be a nice way to start our day. An elephant bull. We were very lucky to find an Ellie bull on the way here from Manuleti this morning. Big bull in must, one tusker. I thought it was a one tusker I know from home, but it turned out to be a tusker I've never seen before. However, with another bull, he acknowledged our presence. I can't get closer to him from here. We'll try and get around to him shortly. He's through a drainage line, and there was a time when we could get through this drainage line, but I think from recent flooding, or flooding from 2 years ago, it's pretty deep. The sides are a lot steeper, so we could maybe go around onto another road and try and catch up with him. There was also a leopard over at Gowrie Dam earlier this morning. I believe Taxon is looking for that leopard at the moment. I believe it is Kanuma, and he's gone into some fairly thick bush below the dam wall as far as I know. So there are two guys looking for it, so I'm not going to be going over there immediately. It's not really wise for too many people to be looking for the same cat, especially since if he's moving, and in this weather it's quite likely that he will be moving, too many vehicles will cover his tracks. And generally when guys are looking for stuff and they're following tracks, it's best to let them get on with it, and we'll look for something else, and with a little bit of luck we might get to see him a little bit later. But for the time being, he's being a little bit more obliging. He's turning around a little bit. I don't know if we'll get a better view from this side of the drainage line, but for now I can maybe go a little forward so that we can get in front of these trees, these small trees in front of us. Hope you all had a good week and getting ready for the weekend. There we go, turned his back on me. I think we'll go around. That's our best bet. I can't really get to see him much. Just an update on things. Scott is not out this morning. Somehow I couldn't get Jigger going. My knowledge extends to only so far, and while the last couple of times we've had a problem with Jigger, I was able to sort it out. This time she wasn't playing ball, so I missed out yesterday, but I don't think I would have been able to do much yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, our afternoon, was the most magic drive, having 3 hours with the leopard, quarantine male, and I think personally I'd like to give him a different name. His brother's got a lovely name for Numa. I can't even remember what it is. Oh, look at this jasmine. Nice way to start the day too, with a flower. Jasmine creeper. That is, go forward a little there. And very true to the jasmine family. It has an incredible scent. Scents mostly at night, for the benefit of the moths that would come and pollinate it. Jasminoides, star jasmine creeper. Cloudy days sometimes mean animals are in hiding. Once again, a change in temperature, a very stark change in temperature in fact. From a rather hot and humid day yesterday to a little bit chilly this morning. I'd say the temperature is probably around 20, maybe 22, which is cold for me. nearly had to put a jacket on. Probably, let's say the low 80s maybe. Road. I'd like to get over to a new area this morning. I think time to go and visit some places I've never seen before. I've been a little bit limited in Jigga, and now that I've got this vehicle, this Land Rover, I can go and explore a little bit. I was thinking of that, but if there's rain coming, it might not be a good idea. Where's this microphone? Do a test. Mobile. If you're joining us for the first time, do let me know. Also, it's nice to know what country you're from. Oh, excuse me a moment. Road. Thanks, Becky. Okay, so they're still looking around for Kunuma. So, as I was saying, do let us know if you're watching for the first time. I'd like to know about new viewers, and send questions to questions@wildearth.tv. You can also send questions through Twitter. #Safari Live is the thread for Twitter. And I think on days like today, when there's probably not going to be too much out there, who knows, we might find something special, but I don't like to expect too much. That way, whatever we find is going to be a bonus. But animals do tend to hide, they do tend to stay in thickets when you get a cold front like this moving through after a hot day, trying to adjust to the temperatures. Of course, if it rains, it will put them deeper in hiding. Works perhaps the other way with cats. Cats can afford to move around in this kind of temperature. It's also fairly good for hunting. A little bit of a wind. While most of the animals might be in thicker bush out of the wind and trying to stay sheltered, I suppose, as well as they could, you might be lucky to find a cat moving about. Interesting to know what happened to the kahumas, because their tracks were on Gowrie Main yesterday morning. Lost them around Twin Dams area when we were playing with the leopard. Very young elephant bush here, and a civet. Maybe, in fact, while we're here, maybe we can go to the hyena den. should be here somewhere. Our elephant. But thick. Getting in there. Don't think we're going to get to see him. Past the hyena, just up towards Zoe's Road, we might be able to see if hyenas are around before they go to sleep, and then come back a little later. He doesn't seem to be moving very fast, so he's browsing. He could spend quite a bit of time within the immediate area. Oh well. Lose 1, gain 20. More than 20. Hello children. Hello everybody. Elephant time. Is this a big... Interesting. Bunch of bulls here. A very big. Look how tall he is. We can see him. He's Big Daddy. Very big bull. I'm sure there's possibly a cow that's in estrus here. That accounts for a number of bulls that are hanging around this family group. Another big bull. So many elephants, I don't know where to start. But all we can see at the moment are rumps. Everybody's got their backs to us. I can smell somebody's in must. We'll just stop here and have a... let everybody get used to our presence. It looks like, if you can see this on the left, there's that where this herd is. They're all feeding off branches, fairly big branches that the females have broken off of the marula tree. You can actually see the broken branches up at the top, just above them. The one on the left, just above her. They've pulled down and broken branches so that the calves can get to marula leaves and some of the marula twigs that form part of their diet that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to reach. So what happens is the females bring down a lot of branches, and sometimes they can almost denude a tree of all its lower branches, sometimes all the branches in fact, depending on how many elephant there are. But it's as though the bushes have set a big salad bar, and for the moment these cows seem to feel that they need marula leaves in their diet, and marula, the little branches, they'll chew the bark off some of the smaller branches as well. Be nice to be able to get to see. I think if we go back onto the road and we try and get in front of them, we'll be able to see how they're feeding on this marula. Marulas retain a lot of water, in not only in the roots but also the branches can retain quite a bit of moisture. Oh wow, look at him. I wonder who this big boy is right next to me. Jambo Bwana Tembo Kubwa Sana. Please, oh my, look at him. He's in must, he's in full. You can see his temporal glands dripping, urine dripping down the inside of his legs. Diane on Twitter. Hello Diane. What does an alien must smell like? Well, it's quite pungent. It's kind of hard to describe, actually. There. Hello, big boy. Hello, my friend. Jambo Bwana Tembo. Just having a look at us, making sure we're not competition. He's probably about a foot away from the front of the vehicle. So, being in muskies now, see how the cows are reacting to him. They're rejecting him at the moment. But these are big cows, and you see how this bull just towers over them. It's quite amazing. He's massive. He's one of the biggest elephants I've seen in a long time. When he stood in front of us a few minutes ago, he dwarfed the Land Rover. I mean, he's massive. But he acquiesced to these feet. As big as he is, they made it very well known to him that they don't want his presence right now. They're busy. See that cow there? Can hardly see, but through the gap between the two at their rumps to us, the cow's got a fairly large branch that she's trying to break into smaller pieces so she can... Oh, we can't see her because this other one's in the way. Okay, let's go back to the road. We'll go in front. Let's see them from the other side. That was fantastic. That made my day. Female looking a bit stressed. She's also leaking from her temporal gland. Now we don't have to move now because she's carrying some food with her. She's got a branch in her mouth and she's got a branch tucked between her trunk and her tusk, carrying it off. She's going to eat on it as she walks along. That little elephant has got a little bit of a fang tusk. You must remember that one. There's one close to home where I live that's also got a very abnormal shaped tusk. Elephants like that are very easy to recognize and over time. Time to move. Oh, she dropped her takeaway. Now that they've moved off, we can just have a look at what they've left behind. I think the presence of this very big bull has pushed the younger bulls. There are a bunch of younger bulls. They seem to have moved off, most likely because of this very big bull. Now have a look at the size of the branch. Not only the branch up top that I showed you earlier, but you can see another fairly large branch that they've broken and brought down. Here's the break. Left a little bit of a mess on the ground. Now they don't eat a lot of marula fruit, or rather marula branches and twigs. Actually, I want to show you something quickly. What I call elephant chewing gum, where they're chewing the juices. This is the bark that has been masticated to a pulp, and all the moisture has been chewed out of it. It's one of the reasons why they're getting to these trees, because it has good properties for I don't know, only the elephants probably know what it is, but it's in my opinion, most likely a sort of a medicinal food rather than food for nutritional purposes. And the reason why I say that is because generally they don't eat a lot of marula, and it's only at times that they will do this. They'll break a branch, and the whole herd with the little ones will, or the ladies, the cows will show the little ones how to and what to eat in terms of the marula, the bark and the branches. This is very nice. I wouldn't be able to get any moisture out of this. Actually, I can. There's, I don't know, a handful after it's already been chewed by elephant. So there's something in this. There's something in the bark, the juice of the bark. Here's a piece of bark from the branch. It's still very, very wet. You can actually get water out of this if you had to. Very, very wet. In fact, it's one of these things that when you're looking for elephants and you find places where they've fed, can give you an idea of the time frame that they've been there because of how much water is left in. So this will dry out fairly quickly, but not so much on a day like today. Bark being a very important aspect of their diet. Let's go and catch up with them. Elephant's digestive system requires constant replenishment. It requires constant flushing, as it were. I suppose in a similar way to us, in that we require fiber in our diet to maintain a healthy digestive system. Fiber is vital to an elephant's diet, and that fiber comes in the form of bark and branches. And let's see, we just have to drive over some of these branches to get back to the road. Roots as well, they'll eat roots that give them fiber. And what that does is it pushes all the undigested material out of the gut so that they can make space for more. A single stomach, in fact, they have a what's called a cecum. They're what we call hindgut digesters, so they almost a fermentation process using bacteria to help break down the cellulose of the plant cells. Our station Columbia and Love on Rebecca's Road, up towards Zoe's. Now, again, bunch of young bulls off to the left. The family group is off to the right. I would say that probably the presence of a couple of older bulls with these females is enough to keep the younger bulls just off to the side. They don't want to interfere in an old bull who's in must. They don't want to interfere in his wanderings. I wonder if we're going to be able to get ahead of them, because they seem to be moving now. Try so that they eventually come past us. We'll just move with them. Kathy Liberty in Indiana. Morning, Kathy. Kathy's question is whether males go into must as a response of females coming into estrus. Not necessarily. Males come into must independent of the females. They then go and find, they then, I suppose they would communicate with family groups. Oh, they're two little ones having a pinch me, I'll pinch you type of game. The elephant bulls come into must independently, and then they will communicate with perhaps matriarchs of different family groups, and then meet up with them, and then I suppose testing urine, testing sense, using the vomeronasal organ called the Jacobson's organ to pick up those female pheromones or estrus pheromones. Hello children. A lovely family this. Probably a couple of family units, more than a couple there. Hello young lady. Very angular head of the elephant, the cows. You can see the forehead, how angular it is compared to, if we have a look at the bull coming over at the back there now. Look at that, see how he towers over them. He's like a basketball player of Ellie's. Here's the little skewed tusk Ellie. I need to take a photo of her, because, oh, him, it's not a her. Hers don't have 5 legs. Hey little boy, you got a little bit of a fang going there. A little bit of a deformity by the looks of things, because I can see that the outside edge of his tusk is very weird. Hello another little boy. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if any of you remember, or those of you who might have been in Thornybush with us last year, there was an elephant we called Norman, I think his name was. It was a funny Ellie. He had a tusk very similar to that. A very well, I won't say a deformed tusk, but there must have been something that had happened in his mouth that caused it to grow in a very strange way and split in a very strange way. He was actually near my house. He must have climbed over the fence at Thornybush, because I've got photographs of him near my house from a couple of weeks ago. I'd like to say he recognized me, but I'd be a little bit not really possible. This weather is turning a bit nasty. Still some more young bulls behind us that are tagging along. There's another fairly large bull straight ahead of us, but also following the herd. Could be that there's some estrus females. I've noticed a number of the females are dribbling from their temporal gland, which means that they're probably being stressed out a little bit by all this male attention, all this testosterone running around them or hassling them. When the males are in must, and just to clarify, it's not musk with a K, it's M-U-S-T-H, must. And it's a period in a bull elephant's life when his testosterone levels increase, something like 50-fold. So to try and describe the smell is a little difficult. It's quite pungent, it's very powerful. It can make some people nauseous. Yes, look at that bull coming. We haven't seen him yet. Look at this monster coming out of the bush here. Also, very interesting tear to his ears. Take some ID photos. Oh, look at these boys. Okay, move forward again. Sorry. Jason is on camera with me. Alex in final control. He just picked up a Xanthodycia, or a leaf from... Oh my word, look at this. Or is this the same boy that came past us earlier? Dribbling from his penis. Also, when a big boy like this is in must, it will suppress the younger bulls from coming into must, so that there isn't any confusion over who is going to be available for mating. I think this young cow is actually presenting herself to him in a way, but he ignored her. He's fantastic. He's huge. Now, it's known that often elephants in must become a little bit overzealous and can be aggressive, but not necessarily always. Sorry, ma'am. Oh, did you get him pushing that tree? Bush willow. Trying to get to the roots. He's going to start pulling up the roots of this bush willow now. Watch him dig up some root. Bush willow roots are very important in their diet, in much the same way as the branches of the marula tree were. He's got a root there, the back of his hand. There's, now watch this. Snap the root. Now he's going to just rip it all out of the ground slowly but surely. There you go. Shake off some sand. All he's going to get off of that root is the bark. He's going to slowly twist it around in his mouth. Oh, maybe being so big. Ooh. But I was here all the time, Mr. Ellie. Unless he's reacted to something else. That wasn't, I don't think that was me that he's spun around for. I think there was something else that might have startled him. Not really wise to be behind Ellies because they don't have very good eyesight to begin with. So to be behind an elephant, they get a little bit nervous. But he walked past me, so he knew I was here, and I haven't sort of crept up on him. As long as he behaves himself, or as long as I behave myself, I suppose. It's up to me to behave because he is a very big elephant and he is in must. That he's leaning, so he's testing his center of gravity. And he's actually chewing through these roots. John in Connecticut. Hello, John. Welcome to our drive this morning. John wants to know, how long is an elephant in must for? Well, it depends. Somehow I knew I was going to say that. A big bull like this, I would say, would probably be in must for a couple of months. Younger bulls, depending on age. The older the bull, the longer the must period. I think must period can last for up to 3 months, but the peak will probably be over a month. Another bush willow. He wants another root. You don't have to push that one. You can get other roots from the one you've already pushed over. Of course, who am I to say what you can and cannot do? It's just going to snap at the bottom, dude. Yeah, let's go back to the other one. There are more roots on that one. Swing it over to the right. Yeah, pull it over this way. There you go. Other side, yeah, there you go. Shove. Yeah, see, much better. Just use the tree you've already used. Very often the trees actually survive this, even though they might look like they've been pushed over. Very often, since they've got pretty sort of radial roots that branch out, the roots on the other side of the tree will still be fine, and there's a very good chance that the tree will continue to grow. That sound of branches breaking or branches being chewed, roots being chewed, that crunching sound. Oh, he's going to throw his head at me. I'm sitting quietly, Mr. Ellie. And you're losing the ladies, they're all walking away. Okay, bye. See you later. Thank you for the show. Okay, bye. I wish I could teleport you all to feel this moment. I'm hoping that at least some of the excitement and the awe comes through the camera, and it comes, you know, you're feeling it at home, just being one-on-one. Well, we're not really one-on-one, we're in a Land Rover, but being in their space, we're in an open vehicle, we're entirely at his mercy, I suppose one could say, but proof that they are really big, gentle creatures, and they have no bad intent whatsoever. A lot of rumbling. Better go and see what's going on, if we can get through there. Might have something to do with must and mating and piece of bush willow root. I think these cows, but now they're coming back this way. They're all reacting to his presence. There's something else that's maybe upsetting them. He's wandering through the back of this little family group. You see how these females are sort of corralled around their children there. A lot of rumbling, a lot of talking going on. Hello, ma'am. Just watching, we're just watching. She's quite stressed, this old girl. I think it's also got a lot to do with all these little boys running around and the older bulls in must. The females are sort of being, I wouldn't say herded as such, but maybe they're being a little bit hassled. Oh, there goes another marula branch. She's carrying it with her, broke off a big branch and she's taking it with her. Interesting question from Linda on email. Thanks, Linda. Thanks for the question. Regarding elephant mating. Do they mate once and then move on, or do they mate several times like the cats do? Well, I don't know. Hard for me to answer that because I'm not really sure. I'm certainly not. It's not as freak. It's not like cats. Cats mate over a period of time. But at the same time, I don't think it's only just once that a bull will cover a cow. He might cover. I think he might cover her a couple of times. I really don't know the answer to that, Linda. I'm not sure at all. See, we'll get out of here. That's the way we came, perhaps. I might spend a lot of time with elephants, almost every day of my life, in fact. By the way, this bush willow been pushed over a long time ago, still growing quite nicely. One on just to our right. Let's see if we can squeeze through here. Too much chunky orange on that side. Some of the tree died and it was pushed, but most of it's still alive. It is very quick when a bull does cover a cow. It's not a lengthy process. It's over rather quickly. Here are a bunch of marula branches that have been pulled down probably way last season. And you can see all of these branches over here on the left, and then the ones further back. The grasses and the plants that are coming through them are a lot taller and a lot more or I suppose healthier. It's the little patches of darker green that are protected by these branches. So it's vital that elephants do what they do, because essentially what they're doing is that they're feeding the soil of the very things that they need to eat from. Unfortunately, this particular marula tree was ring-barked probably at the time that it was being fed on, and it sadly killed the tree. But that might have been intentional. Maybe they didn't want this tree here anymore. Time for the tree to feed the soil. Another marula just off to our left that we're going to go past that was pushed over. And it might have something to do with them wanting other species of trees like the bush willows to become more prolific. There's also that marula tree. If we look at the base, or not the base but the branches, with all the new bush willows and new plants coming up, the branches and the tree itself offering all the protection for this new growth, and a lot easier for things to grow where there are branches to protect them than to grow it out in the open. And if we can, Jason, if we can just go to this small plant in front of it, that little green thing there, that's the round leaf teak, which is a type of tree. It's a species of tree that elephants farm for their branches. They don't let them get to be trees. They retain, or rather maintain, stands of round leaf teak, at certain heights, and they'll come back to them at certain times of the year, just to break the new growth, to chew the bark off of the new growth. And the more they break these little branches, the more the tree recoppices and becomes a shrub as opposed to a tree. And it could be that this is an area they want to turn into a teak forest. As we drive around, there are a few places that I can show you where they have cultivated the teak, this roundleaf teak, kept it cropped sort of at eye height at the most, and on numerous occasions in the past we would find female groups, family groups, herds of elephant amongst all the roundleaf teak, showing the youngsters what part, how to eat it and how to maintain a constant supply of the teak branches. Okay, on my right, where they've dug around the base of the teak, you can see that these teak trees must have been here for a long time. They've recoppiced every season, probably for decades and decades. That the elephants will come through here, the same elephants will come through here. It's almost like their vegetable patch. They'll come and utilize the new, towards the end of summer, when these new shoots that are coming up become a lot taller and a lot thicker, they'll come and break them off, and next season some new ones will grow. Now there are different species of trees that they utilize for this. Oh, black-bellied bustard coming down to land. So in different areas where there are different species of trees that occur, they will use different species for the same thing. Where I live, we don't get roundleaf teak. Further north from here, up in the Timbavati, and there we have a tree known as the mapani that replaces the roundleaf teak. So they do the same thing with the mapani. Up in East Africa, where there's no mapani and no roundleaf teak, they do the same thing with a species of rain tree or apple leaf. And I need to find my way through back to the road, maybe there. Squeeze through this little gap if we can. No, I don't think so. No, it's going to snap back at us. Yeah. Morning, Patty. Well, it might be morning or evening, night time, middle of the night, full city. Patty wanting to know if the males are dribbling from their temporal glands when they are mussed. Why do the females dribble from their temporal gland? And to my knowledge, Patty, it's mostly through stress, especially when mussed bulls are hassling them the way some of these bulls seem to be hassling these cows. They do stress out a little bit. We heard a lot of trumpeting and rumbling, and that's a result of a lot of interference by the younger or by these bulls. I don't know if I can see anything at the den. Termite Mound there is the den, but I'm not going to see anything with the camera, but it might be another. Might be able to see something with the naked eye, whether there are any of the hyenas about. It is starting to get a bit late, and it's a bit chilly and windy. My guess is that they'd probably be inside, tucked up for the day, fast asleep. Let's get up onto Zoe's Road. We might have missed them crossing Zoe's Road already, the elephants. tracks. And if it's the same leopard that was out on Gowrie Dam, looks like tracks of a male leopard. Don't know what to do now. They might have crossed. I'm not seeing any tracks yet. Well, there are a lot of elephant tracks, but I don't know if these are they. But there, 30 elephants just evaporated. They're there. There they are. Across the road already. So suddenly they're moving fast. Suddenly they're moving quite quickly. But I'm just going to follow up this, have a look at this, see if this cat isn't maybe a different cat still walking on the road. Bye Ellies, we'll see you shortly if I don't have any luck with this leopard. But I don't recall seeing this leopard tracks. There were leopard tracks near Voyatella Lodge this morning, which I'm thinking must be the young male Kanuma. But this looks like a bigger male. Looks like a different leopard. Could be. I will know if I can stay with the tracks. Still tracks on the road, still walking on the road, fairly fresh. Nothing there, nothing here. So he left the road, cut through somewhere. Oh. Now I've driven over them and I didn't see which side of the road he went off of the road, unless he just went off for marking his territory. Maybe he'll come back to the road. Always a dilemma when there are tracks on the road, because a cat could be walking and it could be a mile ahead of you, it could be a couple of 100 yards, could be just around the next bend. And sometimes I try and preempt it, and instead of following them one by one, try and jump ahead, and as long as they're still there I can keep going. But there always comes this time when all of a sudden there are no longer any tracks, and then you've got to backtrack and see, try and find where he left the road. But what I'm going to do, since he came in this, he was walking in this direction, I'm going to have a look on the road that runs perpendicular to this, because if he'd maybe cut through either to the north or the south, we'd find some tracks that will verify that. Of course, if you went to this towards Quarantine, I'd have to check that road. Let's just check up this way quickly. Nothing here. could have been the same leopard that cut through from Zoe's Road, Quarantine, and then headed down to the dam. Nothing here. Take some from off. That takes, have any luck with that Ingwe? Oh, where's that? Okay, copied. There's also Nkonzo for Ingwe on Zoe's, maybe the same one. We're not going to get very many male leopards in any particular area. I mean, we're going to have Mvula, who's the father of the two boys, and they're the two boys. So I don't think the tracks are Mvula's because they're not that big. Mvula's tracks are sort of like a small lioness or a sub-adult lion's size track. The two boys, however, their tracks are just a little bit bigger than an adult female tracks at the age group, because they're 2 years old now. They're coming independent. They're big enough to look after themselves. I'm thinking that it's more than likely to be the same cat. Just going back along Zoe's, maybe I can find a spot where his tracks leave the road. But a little bit more difficult now since I've already driven it and I've driven over some of the tracks, but trying to find the last one that was on the road is then key. It's difficult sometimes because it's fairly hard soil, but then he's not going to turn off where there's fairly dense bush. He's going to turn off, most likely he'll use an animal path if there's an animal path, or there's an open patch of ground. The most likely place that he'll leave the road to go cut through to a different area. They see roads as pathways because there are a number of different animals that make pathways that have very specific routes that they travel, and so that these pathways become highways for other species, especially the cats. Cats like soft sand. They like it's quiet, it's comfortable, plus it's not so noisy. So because of that, and because of the fact that pathways are a natural thing, they just see our roads like this as, I suppose, double pathways. I'm thinking that he might have got an open area off to our left. I'm thinking that he might have branched off through there. That would have taken him to a drainage line, and then through the drainage line would have taken him across onto Quarantine, and that is more or less the straight line with the tracks that we found on Wetela Access Road this morning. Yeah, there we go. I think this is it. Excuse me, I just want to have a look because I can see a track ahead of me, and this is a perfect spot for a leopard to leave the road. Might have gone in here. Interesting. I was sniffing on those leaves just to see if he maybe marked his territory there, because he sort of turns, his tracks in the sand there turn to point back at that bush willow, and then he came across to this side of the road, and it looks like he might have taken a path in through here. So we're actually going to do a thing. We're going to go up to Sandy Patch and around onto Impala Plains. The elephants are heading there anyway, so it might be an idea to just go and see if this might be a different leopard. I'm not too sure. Oh, let me plug myself in again. Welcome to Africa, grey Africa today, South Africa, land, the world in one country, a land full of wonders and possibilities. Sandy Patch, I think. Well, I was thinking of heading up to Arathusa this morning, but I think I'll do that this afternoon instead. That's what the weather's like. That is hyena. Okay. Right. While I'm driving, maybe there's a question or two. Excuse me, Dove. Thank you. Sandra. Hello. Sandra sent an email wanting to know how elephants make that rumbling sound. Well, the vocalization that we hear is all sort of the higher frequencies of an elephant, because their lower frequencies are subsonic, they infrasound that we won't hear, but we do. They can be felt. They make the sound much the same way that we make a sound. They have a voice box, so they're bringing air up from the lungs, vibrating the valves of the voice box, and then using their trunk to amplify it as well. But there's something to do with the configuration, or rather the shape of the head and the honeycomb sort of construction of the top of the skull that vibrates. Cavities, nasal, like sinus cavities that they use to make their infrasound. had an elephant skull to show you.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back on the vehicle with us. Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back on the vehicle with us. Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing...
Welcome back. Sorry we lost you. You lost me. Sorry we all got lost there a little bit. In the sense of how to get out of signal range to get back onto this road. Back in signal range again. Sid in Chicago. The question was whether we're in danger or not with big cats around. There's always an element of danger because we're in an open vehicle. The thing is that all these cats have grown up, they've all been born to the presence of vehicles, so they've become accustomed to the vehicles and the behavior of the vehicles. Now, the learning process of young cats is a very intense, or rather a very interesting process, where they have to learn. Different cats have different levels of learning. In leopard, for example, a lot of what a leopard does in life is instinctive, but there are certain things that it has to learn over time, whereas lion have to learn how to hunt cooperatively, and there's also a little bit of instinctive behavior. Cheetah, on the other hand, are pretty much entirely learned in terms of hunting and abilities. And as cubs, when they're growing up, the vehicles and people never form part of that learning process in terms of whether something is a danger or whether something is food. Because I suppose those are the two main concerns for the big cats. And so the vehicles and the people that are part of their lives from time to time, maybe at best we're a little bit of a nuisance from time to time. It was kudu been lying down, getting up and running away, flashing their white tails. So from one aspect, they know that we're not food, and they know that we're not a danger to them because we don't threaten them. So if anything, they can ignore us on those fronts. Occasionally though, the vehicles become a little bit too close and they invade their space a little bit. Can you get those mongoose on that termite mound through there? If I try and get closer, they're going to probably hide. There. There's some kudu here. Oh, they're already disappearing. Not great. Colony of dwarf mongoose living in that dead termitarium, dead termite mound. Let's see if we can get a bit closer to them while I'm listening out for other things. I've had occasion in the past in various different parts of Africa where cats are not as familiar with the vehicles as they might be here in the Sabi Sand, and I've had cats growling, I've had cats charging the vehicle, but they don't really mean any harm. It's just a signal of theirs to stop or to get out of their space, not to come any closer. Sometimes I've had, well, a couple of times in the past I've had occasion to know leopards that have become very bold with the vehicles, not in an aggressive manner but in a curious manner, and been one or two incidents of them actually touching humans, and it might be a gentle touch for a cat but it tears the skin of a human, and that has happened in the past. But if one has to consider the number of vehicles out in all the game lodges in Africa, there aren't really that many incidents of cats being aggressive or causing any harm to people on a vehicle. There have been mistakes that have been made. There was a vehicle once that parked under a tree that a leopard had a kill in, and the guide parked a little bit too close to the base of the tree, so the leopard was virtually directly above them, and the leopard was a little bit threatened by that because its only avenue of escape would have been down the trunk of the tree, and the leopard jumped into the vehicle to get away. It merely used the vehicle as like a stepping stone, and I think it injured somebody. But generally, if you behave yourself, we're pretty safe. There are times when cats, especially like big male lion, look at you. They're very close, and they come walking past and brush past the vehicle, and they look up at you, and you're sitting in an open vehicle, and all it will really take is for him to not even jump, just to sort of rear up and swipe you with a paw. This is the smallest of the mongoose species, the dwarf mongoose, and it's one of their favorite homes to take over disused termite mounds. Perfect vantage points when they get up in the morning. They spend a lot of time grooming and toileting around the termite mound before they venture off foraging for insects for the rest of the day. Looks like little ones are playing in the background. Morning, Matt in California, wanting to know if mongoose are related to meerkats. That's more the other way around. Meerkats are related to, well, they are mongoose family. They belong to the family known as Viveridae, the viverids, and they're merely the meerkats are. That's just another species of mongoose. We don't get them here. They occur in the more drier western regions of the country. This is about the, yeah, it is. It's the smallest and one of only two social species of mongoose that we have here, other than the meerkat, which is another social species. But we get several species of mongoose that are solitary or live in a smaller sort of family unit than a group, a family, like the dwarf that we have here, or the banded mongoose. The structure of the group is normally an alpha and an alpha male and an alpha female, who are the breeders of the family, and then subordinate male and females, and then only the alpha couple are the ones that breed. So all the youngsters will belong to them and be looked after by pretty much anybody else who's older. So any of the other non-breeding females can become babysitters or caretakers of the youngsters. Very tight-knit community, and they look after each other incredibly well. Right, let's move along then. Bye, children. Elephant has come through already, or they still in this big block off to our left, somewhere in there. No sign of the cat, so it might very well be the same one that went down to Gari Dam to the waterhole, waterhole. What do we have? Nothing. A couple of nocturnal species of mongoose. Big white-tailed mongoose, which is bigger than a domestic cat. Stands taller than a domestic cat. There's also the smaller slender mongoose that we get here. It's more of a solitary species. What's up, Shrike? Thought this might have been maybe a fragment of tusk, but it's not. It's just a piece of bone. It would take a while to try and figure out what bone it's from, because it's got two surfaces. Scapula, maybe from a shoulder blade. There aren't many parts of an animal that would have been this big with bone this dense that the bone would be about that thick. I mean, well, that is how thick this section of bone is. So I'm guessing that this is probably sort of towards the flattened part of a shoulder blade of something, maybe the likes of, well, a giraffe or something big. Been chewed on quite a bit over the years. how to dip our feet in other waters, I think. Now, an area I've never been in, and an area that I'm dying to see. Decided we're going to go there after all. But now you'll have to bear with me, because having never been there before, I don't know any of the roads. Take some guesses. It's a challenge because there's no sun. Oh, hello Ellie. Is this where you all came to? Here he is. This is the big musk bull that we were with earlier. So the whole herd must have come through here. Or he's left them and he's setting off on his own journey now. Maybe decided that none of the ladies are in estrus and he needs to go and find others. See if we can catch him picking up his scent now. Guess we can try from this angle. It's just behind this termite mound and not a very clear view of him. A little forward, doesn't make any difference. Jambo buena. Let me go back now a little bit. There's a tree that's probably about 5 years old and is just snapped and eaten like a tidbit. Hello, big boy. Very distinctive ears, both left and right. A very distinctive big V notch in his right ear. A good example of how an elephant uses the tusk. He seems to favor his left tusk. He's developing quite a groove in it. Holds it with his trunk and levers it with his tusk. And by doing that time and time again, eventually a little groove develops the tip of the tusk. He doesn't have very much of a groove. I've seen elephants, younger elephants, with deeper grooves. There we go. I have to look at a map. While you're looking at the elephants, I'm just looking at a map. Triple M North. So we can take any of these roads. We go that way. Goodbye, Ellie. We could follow him if we wanted to. We're allowed there now. But I'm going to head further north, or rather further south. We've had some wonderful time with him. Let's go see what we can find on a patch of Arathusa to see how well we do. Bye, Boyki. Nice to have met you. So, if the footprints of all of that big herd that have crossed, so they've all gone through here. He still looks like he's still sort of following them a little bit, but maybe not interacting with them as much as he was. I think some of those cows made it quite clear to him that there's no one ready. There's no need for him to barge into them like he did. He does have a bit of attitude, that elephant. I don't mean in a bad sense. Right, so this road would be, we came off of Impala Road. This would be Knobthorne Pan Road. This takes us to a pan that I've never seen. So let's go and have a look at the place called Knobthorne Pan. See if hopefully signal is going to be good for us here. And that means that the road splits like that, so we're going to take the southern part of the split. Oh, hang on a second. It's supposed to be a pan here somewhere. Let's take this and we'll come back to the southern split. Knobthorne Pan is supposed to be here somewhere. Maybe that's it. There's a Knobthorne there. If I take this road, we'll get another one that goes back up to the southern branch. New territory for me. Trees I've never seen before. Hello Terminalia, nice to meet you. You're breaking up a bit there. Go again, please. Okay, copied. I hear you. Alex making quite a valid point. I suppose it's not really a day for exploring too far from Buyatela or from Gari, because we don't have another vehicle to cut to. In case we lose signal, then we're going to be black screen for a bit. So we'll just keep within the boundaries of, if I stay sort of on the ridges and not go too far to the west. Aha. This is beautiful. Look at this lovely open area. Gosh. Quite magic. Short grass open area. Just to keep track, let me keep Wonderful having electronic devices that so we came there, then there. Oh, the blue dot isn't Knobthorne Band. The blue dot is me. The blue dot is showing where I am. That's even more impressive. So that's easy to do. I don't even have to guess. Normally I'd use a piece of paper as a, hard copy of a map. Using an electronic copy of a map is fun. Do this more often. We'll get back onto Western Gowrie because this road runs parallel to the big main road. It's nicer driving this than it is driving the main road because it's new. Oh, okay. I might have to get back to Gowrie because I can't hear Alex very well. It means that we might be losing signal. Reading you sort of 1 out of 5. I think the question is, what is a pan? What is a pan? Of course, you're not hearing very well, so I'm not too sure who asked the question. A pan is a small mud wallow, a small naturally formed water hole. I can show you a pan. Like a mud wallow. We're going into a dip. Hopefully signal will be fine down here. Generally they dry up in the dry season. Okay, I think what we need to do is go back to Triple M, get back onto Western Gowrie. Let's go down to Gowrie Dam and sniff around, see if we can find any signs of... Oh, hello children. Fleas. Hello fleas. See any fleas? Oh, look what's in the road. Crossing into Western Gowrie. Irritated by oxpeckers. Tallest animal on earth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Journey of giraffe. And a millipede. Mine's a millipede. 5. The little one. Great angle. Look at that magnificent bull following this group of females and the little one. 1 bull, 3 cows, 1 calf. Look at the difference in the patterns on the bull and the cow on the left of your screen right now. Bulls do tend to be darker, and they do tend to darken with age, but it's not a hard and fast rule really. It's just sort of generalization. But I'd like you to have a look at the differences in patterns. The female on the left, she's got a very, very clear defined edge to her, I suppose we could call them spots, as opposed to the second on the right, That female is a little bit darker than the others, and there we can see now that they're together almost. Male is there's the behind the bushes. If I'm going to just roll forward there, Jason, we can. No, we don't need to now. But he was testing her for estrus. He was giving her a sniff. Each giraffe as distinctive as each and every individual zebra, very much like everything else on the planet. Every single animal is different. But when you look at a herd of impala, it's pretty hard for us to tell individual impala because they do look so similar. Giraffe is a little bit easier because the patterns their patterns are different, their coats are different shades. No two can ever be the same. I had a question about giraffe twins a little while ago, and I wasn't sure if they'd ever been born, and I had an answer from one of our viewers who loves giraffe, heart giraffe. It was telling me that there have been twins born in zoos, but normally the mother rejects one of them. See, in the wild, in the wild it would be detrimental to all three to have twins. There he's trying to mount one of those cows. Let's try and get around onto Gowrie Main. Sorry, I'm moving while you zoomed in. I need to learn to wait until the cameraman's ready. Gravity drive. This is possibly the female that the bull's trying to seduce, and she doesn't want any part of it, but he's following her like a puppy dog. And of course the others are just tagging along. Hello, man. Okay, now let's see what he does if she doesn't move off. Now reading you about 4 out of 5. Okay, copy that. Good idea. Hello, giraffes. Oh, shit. Very good. Good, good. Thanks for the gate.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
See you later. Thanks. No, don't play with that giraffe. That's trash. Look at it. She's looking. Must have fallen off a truck. Some cardboard. She's a little bit wary of it. She's a little bit scared of it. As soon as they move off, I'm going to go and pick it up. But it's a strange object. She's not sure what it is. I don't think it would have been intentional that somebody threw something like that away. Stand on it. Kick it with your feet. Once she smells it, she probably smells human, and she... That was all because of the bull that she did a little trot like that, I think. No, it's all about this cardboard. She's snorting at it. She's huffing and puffing. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's sort of one of the sounds that giraffe make. They don't make many sounds. They don't have a very well developed vocal cord. But she's trying to get a reaction out of the cardboard. I've got to go forward. See how her ears are pointing forward like that. Very puzzled at this strange thing. Yeah, she just did a little grumble. Possibly it's moving in the wind and it's troubling her. She wants to turn away, but she also can't keep her eyes off of it. I can't see her head. Let me go forward there, Jason. Oh, she's going to move. If I got out now and went to collect it, I'd chase them away. They'd run off. But what I can do is I can do this. I'll rescue you, Mrs. Giraffe. I'll come and kill the dragon. Been here a long time. One more piece. I must tell you a story about a box, hyena in a box, one of these days. And now when we reverse back, I want to see if she's going to come back and see if there's anything. See if she comes back to have a look at it. She's coming back now, coming to look. She's not really sure. Come and see, it's gone. She's looking for it now. The bull behind her isn't as interested as I thought he was. She's giving up. I don't think she's giving up. It looks like she's still a little interested. I'm not too sure where it's gone. Ashid, come John. Pukil. Morning all. Second windmill. Okay, thanks. I don't know, hopefully I can broadcast from there.
Yeah. Just for the road, the one of them jumped around and started broadcasting. It has been stung by the scorpion, and I think it's going to be okay.
We've had very close encounters with lions. Today is in...
Right, Nick? Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But do you drive EP?
No, we don't go to EP.
Yeah, there's four Manchingas there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can come this side for me this afternoon. Yeah.
No, it's been an amazing morning.
Yeah. We just had an interesting thing with this little girl, this female giraffe. This cardboard was lying in the bush over there, and she was very wary of it. And so I went in to pick it up, and she's now looking for it.
Okay, so she wanted maybe to...
Well, I don't know, maybe she didn't know what it was. She bent down to smell it, and then she got a fright.
Yeah.
And then when I took it away, she's been looking for it. Second windmill, you say?
Yeah, second windmill, it's just... you can take it from Safari open area, Safari open area.
Yeah. I'd love to try.
If you come from a dam wall, like
Yeah.
Past the first road that goes left, and the second one goes west.
Yeah, there I see first windmill, second windmill, yeah. I'd love to try, but maybe I'll give it a bash this afternoon.
Is that the teenage lions?
Yeah, but the other one's I can give it a try. I didn't see the other two.
Yeah.
Maybe other big male lions killed them.
Really?
Yeah. But no,
I reckon last night all the hell was breaking loose.
Really?
There were female
Alright,
lions, 4 big lions, and then the 5 younger ones. All in the same area.
Wow. Have a lovely day.
yeah, I'll
Enjoy
see
your
you,
safari.
back, yeah.
Bye bye.
Enjoy the giraffe. That's a
Thank-
giraffe. You know
Is that? No, I didn't know that. This must be Mom, because I can see she's lactating. This one that's just walked past us now. She's very heavy in milk. And there comes little one. Only a few months old. We need to turn around now too. How schön. Enjoy. Ahö. Work harder, work harder. Cape Turtle Dove, work harder. Okay, we're going to get them on the road as they're coming across. I have to spend some time with Giraffe. Yeah, this is Mama. You looking for your cardboard? It's gone. Mini Me and Big Daddy. And there the impala, give you a bit of a scale. Impala perhaps the size of a bit bigger, a bit taller than a German Shepherd, I'd say. Not as bulky and as heavy, of course. But just to give you a little bit of an idea of size, this bull probably close on 18 feet tall. The calf probably about 7. weather is a bit bad here. I only got Winnipeg. Okay, thanks. Morning, Colleen. Colleen is in Winnipeg, wanting to know if giraffes stay in a family unit. Not necessarily. There are often times when one only sees the cows and calves and bulls on their own, or bulls in bachelor groups. But every now and then one finds a family unit like this. Uncertain whether he is the father of this calf. It's probably most likely, I guess. And all those different patterns. Don't know if Fabienne is still awake in Canada. Flick, if you are, here's your bedside table giraffe. Big one and small one. Father and child. Tell you about the poles, that sort of intrusion of humanity or technology, or the presence of humans with the power line pole. Single phase electricity that's brought into the reserve to run the lodges. They're looking at something off to the right. There could be either giraffe or something of interest to them. Difficult for me to make out what it is. It's fairly thick, the bush to the right. I think one of the reasons why they're sticking to the open. Now he's testing. She wouldn't be an Easter, she's only just had this calf a few months ago. Be nice to see if little one's going to drink. Looks like he's trying to keep up with mom. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, mom doesn't want little one to drink. Let's stay with him a little while. Be nice to see if little one's going to drink. If she lets him or her. And now, what's he doing? Another man-made thing on the ground, but that has been ripped off of the pole. Like a sheet that goes over the pole of the power line to prevent large pachyderms from rubbing up against it. And there's a tendency of pachyderms to use these power line poles as rubbing posts. And because they have such a rough skin, it acts as well, more than sandpaper, almost like a rasp file. And very often you have these poles getting worn right through at the bottom and actually falling over, and of course it can cause not only cause fire, but it can cause serious injury to animals because it's a high powered line. That. Hello, big man. Do you mind us following you and your family? Baby's going to try and drink again while mom's eating, and she moves off. This is in front of the bull is actually it's a young boy, it's a young male. I thought there were 3 cows, but now that we're close to them, that's a young bull that's following the cow now. Big brother to this little baby. Maybe the other cow's calf. She's not lactating, of course, because he's a lot older, doesn't need to drink. Well, if it's a female, it'll probably stay with mom for for its life. If it's a young bull, not really that it's kicked out. It's just the young bulls tend to wander off and become bulls. They tend to seek the company of other bulls. They need to fit in with the social order of things amongst the bulls within any given area. They need to learn how to spar with their heads, punching with their horns which are actually called ossicones. It's a very difficult lesson to learn in life, because they're invariably smaller giraffes that have to learn from bigger ones, and the weight and size of the head of the bigger bulls swung around the top of the ossicones being used as fists. Good, and you, Mark? How's it? Yes, that's right. Hi, everybody. Yeah. Have a good morning. Cool. Bye. Darby. The way giraffe fight is they stand abreast of each other, they swing their heads and punch at the top of those. That's why the bulls, the top of their ossicones are bald from all the fighting that they do. They start off like this little one with little tufts of hair. How dainty that little thing is. Running to catch up to Mom. Too much energy this time of day. Comfort of Mom. Touching. They always seem to stop with the pole behind them. Or is it that I stop with the pole behind them? Oxpeckers are arriving. Quiet moments with the most gentle of giants, the most gentle of all creatures in Africa, perhaps. I can't think of any time I've ever seen a giraffe get aggressive, other than of course bulls fighting with each other, but in terms of towards humans. There have been one or two incidents. Excuse me, gosh. I know there's been one or two incidents with giraffe in captivity. I think there has been an incident of a giraffe getting a bit aggressive with a vehicle once that I was told about. I don't know firsthand, but generally speaking, they are the most wonderful, calm creatures. it's soothing. It's sorry little boy, did we forget about you? Can we get a morning glory quickly? A morning glory for Gloria. I'm going to send a shout out to Gloria later too, but Gloria is a very long time, very well, I don't know if that makes sense, long time viewer, Zoomy. Gloria, I believe, is in hospital at the moment. Just a shout out to Gloria from all the other Zoomies and moderators and everyone at WildEarth, thanking you for all you've done for us over the years, and hopefully you'll get well soon. Morning glory for Gloria. And here's a hibiscus. No, we can't see the hibiscus, it's facing away from the camera. The number of these flowers that that'll be closed this afternoon, and the number of flowers that are closed now that'll be open this afternoon. So let's catch the morning flowers. There's the wild hibiscus just off to my right, over my shoulder. Not a great example of it because it's in the grasses, but it too, one facing the other way. Lovely deep purple throat to the hibiscus. And I shall find you more in time. Also for Gloria. And we're going to leave these wonderful tall ships of the bush. Use our gravity drive and just start making our way back towards Gowrie Dam. I wanted to just go past Gowrie Dam before we said goodbye. Because, bye-bye children, thank you very much. Very strange marking on its neck where that oxpecker is. Just a slightly darker patch. I don't know if it's a scar or it's just a darker spot of the giraffe. You see how the oxpecker is combing through the fur, combing through his hair, picking out parasites. But just below to the right of that oxpecker, you see that darker spot? Oh no, I can't see it because he's turning away. There we go. Just a little bit of a darker, just something that when we see it again in the future we'll know that we've seen it before, because that's a very distinctive marking on this little one. Of course the composition of the group will be easy to recognize again one day. Bye giraffe. Hi Shane. Morning, morning. Mark.
Stefan, please.
Stefan, afgenaam Kenneth. Sorry, I'm in your way. Bye bye. Hello, Anne-Marie in Cherry Hill. Bye giraffe. Anne-Marie, Cherry Hill. Do giraffe eat marula fruit? Yes they do actually. I have seen them eat marula fruit. I mean they are predominantly browsers, but I've seen them eat the fruits, the very fresh green fruits of sausage trees when they're still about the size of Vienna sausages, hot dog sausages. When they start getting a bit bigger, then giraffe tend to dislike them. They become very fibrous and very hard. But what a giraffe will do is it'll chew on the nut, it'll spit the nut out. It won't swallow it because the digestive system wouldn't be able to handle it. We'll be seeing that in January. The fruits will be ripening in January and they'll be falling from the tree. Elephants shake them loose too. Hello, Mr. Marla. By a treehouse dam, maybe quarantine mail is back to some part of the world. It's been a morning of big mammals. Wonderful, really. Actually, one of the smallest, the dwarf mongoose. One of the biggest, the elephant, to the tallest, the giraffe. Gone. There's a ground scraper thrush. There's another one sitting up in that marula tree. And they're gone back to the ground to scrape. Ground scraper thrush. We'll have to find you another one day. Quite striking markings on that bird. Fairly cool day like today. I'm not going to have too much activity at the water. The likes of buffalo that are wallowing all day like they were yesterday, or elephants coming to swim. And these might swim though. But also, waterholes don't get too active in this weather. This is Treehouse Dam. Few spots of water on my glass is telling me there's a little bit of drizzle going to start soon. I don't think it's anything to worry about as yet. Buffalo thorns just been hammered. There was an elephant here earlier today. Left his dung in the road. Been scraping the road with his trunk. I'm not sure which way he went. I'm going to find his tracks. leopard tracks. Old leopard tracks. Tracks look a little bit fresher than the earlier ones. The wind is not being my friend today. Aging tracks faster. That's what happens with wind. I think I should be going the other way, come to think of it. Back up past Treehouse Dam, going west. Might have been yesterday's tracks. Oh, look what's in the road. Can you get that bird before we see that thing in the road? That, everyone, is one of the most beautiful birds we will see if only there was sunshine. It's known as the plum-coloured starling, or what's it called now? There are two males in the tree there. There we go, there's another male. Unusual to have two males together unless they're both courting the same female. Now when the sun catches it, that is the most iridescent purple, most beautiful colour. Purple glossed starling, I think it's called now. I grew up with it, knowing it as a plum-coloured starling. Oh, violet-backed. Thank you, Alex. Violet-backed starling. Maybe you can Google it, get a picture on. Look at that. Let me go a little bit forward, you can get it off the side of the vehicle. Dung beetles rolling their ball. Such a big ball, such tiny dung beetles. And oh, he's just battling. Soft sand, uphill. Tiny dung beetles and oh, he's just battling. Soft sand, uphill. Well, I've always thought it's the female that rolls and it's the male that sits on the ball. Or it's the male that rolls and the female that sits on the ball. Keeps rolling to the left and the dung beetle wants to go more to the right, but there's a slope. In the process of rolling, as you can see, there's a lot of sand building up around the dung ball, and what that does is it creates a very hard crust around the dung ball that helps maintain or retain moisture within the ball. And that ball, although that ball itself is probably going to be a nuptial ball, It's a ball that they'll use for mating, not necessarily for breeding. When you see a dung beetle on her own rolling a ball, then that is invariably a ball that is then meant for an egg. Nature does this to make sure that not only the dung gets spread in different places, and when they bury it, it acts as a little ball of fertilizer too, but also to spread the dung beetle larvae around a little bit, rather than have too many of them at a dung pile. Just getting more and more sand on it, building it up in size. Yeah, the top of the ball gets some orientation, making sure it knows where it's going, and then of course only the dung beetle knows where it's going. Somehow it has an idea of where it needs to be. Getting a lot harder now because the sand is getting softer. Just incredible power. I'm going to have to bring a dung beetle on drive with me this afternoon. I've had one in my room, a dead one, a skeleton, so that we can get a bit closer on a dung beetle. I wouldn't dare disturb a pair like that, just to prove a point. So I need to disturb living when we can find the skeletons of dead ones to talk about. Okay, there's another flower. Actually, there are a couple of flowers I want to show you. Lovely weather for flowers. A lot of things open now because it's a little bit humid, it's damp, there's a little bit of a drizzle starting. And when we have hot sunny days, a lot of these flowers don't even open because they just shrivel up and burn. So just another flower that's really, really pretty. Add to the bouquet for Gloria. And anybody else who's feeling poorly is the yellow commelina. And get one facing us like Mickey Mouse ears. Commelina africana. There's one at the back there that's facing us full on. Just go a little bit forward, or can you get it? Yeah, that one is sort of full frontal. I think you can see how bright and yellow it is. I don't know how well the colour, I'm sure the colours are coming out quite fine, but really beautiful yellow. It's the only yellow commelina that we get. We get a number of different blue commelinas. Today's the morning for flowers because the other day it was too hot for flowers. It's going to go back to another yellow flower. I've got 2 more yellow flowers before we close off today. Try to show you this wattle flower as well, and then I've got lost signal, but this is the African wattle. They're just coming towards the end of their flowering season. Beautiful when they are in flower, full bloom. The softest leaf of all in the bush, really lovely, tissue paper soft. Wind's picking up. Okay, then one more yellow flower. I think somebody asked me about it. It could have been Linda Pepperbird asked me about it on a message or on Twitter, I think. I can't remember. See if we can get close to it. It's starting to drizzle a little bit harder now. Up there. Whether we can get to see it or not is another story. We used to be able to get underneath this tree, behind this sickle bush. This is a fairly good angle. It's a very grey sky, so it's going to be a little bit blown out in the background. See how close I can just get to it. Too close means that it's looking into too bright a sky. But maybe the one flower spike on our side of the plant. This is a tree orchid. Have you got something? Or do you need a lens cloth? This is a tree orchid. Those of you who've been with us from time gone by, here you go. I'm just going to wipe the lens so there will be a big black cloth in your vision at the moment. But those of you who've been with us a while will know that I've stopped at this orchid very often in the past. It's been nice to look at some past photographs and see how much it has changed over the years. It's not looking as healthy as I remember. That not that many leaves, although flowers are looking pretty healthy. If anybody wants, just let me know. I can send. I've got some lovely close-up photographs of these orchids. This is the tiger orchid, the larger of the two subspecies of tree orchid that we get here. One is the leopard orchid. It has little mauve or purple spots on the flower. This is the tiger orchid, which is just the yellow orchid. Ancelia gigantea. The other orchid is Ancelia gigantea natalica or natalica. Was it natalica? Yes, something like that. Natalitia. Referring to the fact that it was named in the province of Natal, now known as KwaZulu-Natal. More roundleaf teak that's been harvested and cropped by elephants. So be careful not to go over the stumps because they can be sharp where the elephants break them off. Still maybe a little bit of time to get back to Gowrie Dam. Oh, little Bolosanthus in the road. Tree wisteria, that little tree that's also been hammered by elephants. Beautiful flowers on the tree wisteria at the beginning of the season. Spike thorn, broken by the same elephant that broke that buffalo thorn. It is buffalo thorn. This elephant's breaking buffalo thorn today. Oh. And the dung beetles, Mark. Shame. Still top of its ball, getting its orientation. Good luck, dung beetles. I suppose, just quickly, end off with another colour. Next to this gloriosa, the morning glory, is the blue camelina. I think it's also known as a wandering Jew, like me. Wandering around Africa for a few years and time to now trying to set down roots at home in the Timbavati. Don't really want to go anywhere from there. There's a white flower there known as a cycnium. Cycnium or cycnium, I think that's how you pronounce it. Being self-taught, I often might not pronounce things properly. C-Y-C-N-I-U-M, cycnium. See if I can find more cycnium. Maybe a bunch of different flowers will be out in the afternoon. I know for the lion's eye or roadside pimpernel, Trichocereus, that will be open in the afternoon if it's sunny. If it's not sunny, they won't open up. As opposed to a lot of these flowers that we're seeing, they are open because it's not sunny. So that Commelina was known as Commelina modesta, the yellow one Commelina africana. And as you know, they dedicate all my flowers to all the ladies out there. I'm a bit of a ladies' man. Too many women, too little time. One big hibiscus walking away from us. We need to have a hibiscus in our face, sort of facing us. For the guys out there, well, just a shout out to the guys. Be a bit weird giving you flowers or sending you flowers. So I'll just raise a beer to all you guys later on this evening. Drink a toast to all our male viewers. Don't want to leave you out of the picture. Lots of jasmine here. This elephant is, I don't know what his case is. Now I'm breaking a piece of leadwood. I don't know where he went. Kind of activity that you could put down to maybe toothache or something irritating this elephant. Every now and then he's taking it out on trees. Displacement aggression, it's called. Displacement behavior. It's getting a little bit spotty now in terms of drizzle, but it's that kind of typical grey windy day where it comes in waves. It's sort of like a wave of drizzle and then that moves on. I think fairly bright, fairly high the cloud and quite light towards the south where it comes from, but it's moving fast. I think if I stop and look at the cloud, we find it sweeping across the sky quite rapidly. and still burn open later. I certainly hope it does. I don't want it to close in and get wetter. Well, it can get as wet as it wants. No, in fact, that would be fun if we could get some rain between now and 4 o'clock, and then the skies can open up at around 4. But I don't know if that's going to happen. It's looking decidedly grey on the extreme southern horizon. More dung beetles. We'll do the dung beetle slalom. Oh, that one's not as tall. Hello, Vicky. Vicky in New Mexico. Vicky has been to South Africa. She was at Tabatolo last year, I believe, and says she saw a bird known as the Narina trogon. Now, the Narina trogon is probably an iconic bird for birders because it's one of the most beautiful birds. I'm sure Vicky is asking in response to my violet-backed starling, plum-coloured starling that we saw earlier, because just another extraordinary and exquisite bird. But the Narina trogon, Vicky wants to know if I've ever seen in the Sabi Sand. Not in this part of the Sabi Sand. I've seen in the southern part of the Sabi Sand along the Sabi River, in what is now known as Land Sands. In my day, when I was a younger guide, when I was younger, it was known as Sabi River Lodge. I lived there for a few years. They used to have Narina trogon in the Tambuti forests, and I saw one Narina trogon last year in Thornybush, of all places, which is actually a little bit drier than here. So I'm sure in some of this thick riparian forest that we have along this river, that is part of the drainage line, or the system, the drainage system that is Gowrie Dam. Very dense vegetation. It is kind of ideal habitat for the Narina trogon. But as yet I haven't seen it. I must find out from Texan or some of the other guides to see whether they've seen Narina trogon elsewhere. I'll try and remember that next time I bump into one of the guides. Also, next time I speak to Yuri, find out if it's ever been recorded here. Oh, big waterbuck bull running across the road. Bumpy road. He's gone down into the drainage line. A little bit shy, I guess. Maybe this drizzle won't get any harder and let me finish the drive without having to rush back. Leopard has decided to move and show his face. He was evidently in some rather thick bush this morning. They couldn't find him again. He was seen on the camera, I don't know what time, but it looked like it was still in infrared mode, the camera, so it was probably when it was still dark. I didn't see a timestamp on that one picture that I was shown this morning. The geese and their goslings are there. Interesting story about Pete's Pond, that there are a family of geese, or there is a family of geese with the crowned crane that seems to have taken up residence with them. Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty. It's always worth a try. If he's around, he's either going to be visible or not, and at the moment doesn't look like he is. Drive this afternoon, maybe he'll have moved by then. But he moved. He seems to be spending quite a bit of time below the dam wall in this drainage line. Quite thick. There's a lovely little tambuti forest in there. Sweet call of sulphur-breasted bush shrike, orange-breasted bush shrike. Coffee, tea or me? Well, it's been a very, very relaxing morning for me, I have to tell you. It's been wonderful. Can I have one more flower, please? Yes, one more flower before we go. And it will be... Oh, they're facing the wrong way. Okay, well, I'll find another one another time. They're only starting to come out now. That type of flower that's going to be quite profuse later on in the season. It's the wild foxglove, very pretty pink. But I don't want to sort of drive on the grasses just to show you a flower. Although it's not just to show you a flower, but I would love to show you. It's a little bit excessive just going onto the grass to see a flower we'll see elsewhere. Some of the lion's eyes are opening up, the Trichocereus or Pimpernel. By this afternoon they'll probably, if it's sunny enough, I guess, or if it's light enough, they will open up. But as we go across the dam wall, what I can do is show you something in the lodge that's really, really pretty. Not a close-up, but from far, it looks stunning. One of the reasons why this particular tree was brought from, I think, South America. So, while we're on the dam wall, we look across at WildEarth Lodge. There's a splash of colour just off of the main dining area, belonging to the flamboyant, a very appropriate name for a very flamboyant tree, scientifically known as Delonix, or known to some perhaps as Delonix. So despite being an alien, it is tolerated because it's been brought into this country for its beauty. the seeds don't germinate very well, so it doesn't become a problem tree. It doesn't escape the confines of people's gardens and overextend itself in the natural environment surrounding the lodges. A lot of people call it the summer Christmas tree because they tend to flower in the December Christmas times. Really beautiful. Maybe in days, if there's no one at the lodge, we'll be able to drive in front of the lodge to go and have a look at it. Stichosaurus has moved since I was here last. I'm sure it gets moved all around. There's a log at the back there. If we just go in front of, drop down from the flamboyant, there's a log in the water. And the dam seems to have changed a little bit from the floods, especially of course the spillway. But there's some things that haven't changed, and I think that, if I'm not mistaken, is the old stick that was always around with Hippo and her baby. The baby used to rest on it and play with it and push it around. We named it the Stichosaurus. Very rare breed of Stichosaurus, in fact. Stichosaurus gauriensis. Wave at the camera. And after a really lovely, relaxing morning, it seems almost like my universe again. I was having a bit of trouble with some technical and medical things over the last 2 days that have been getting me a little bit down. And just the kind of morning that needs to bring me out of that elephant, giraffe and flowers. And just a really peaceful morning. I want to thank you all for joining me this morning. Thanks Jason for camera work. Thanks Alex back in final control, and Alex in final control. Like the broken record. And Alex in final control. Thanks for joining me. Final control. Thanks for joining me.
My name is Mark.
I will see you again this afternoon, 4 o'clock Central African time, our time. So do join us again. If you're going to bed, have a wonderful night's sleep and dream of African flowers and spotted cats. We'll see you a little bit later. Bye everybody. As he drives off into the sunset. Boom!